Hey guys, in this video I'll be comparing Samson Dauda's 2024 France Pro physique to Derek and Hadi's best versions in a sort of preview of the Olympia. This version of Samson is arguably his most impressive, best physique that he's brought to the stage, and I do wonder how well he's going to stack up against Hadi and Derek. Now, I have a solid feeling that this will be the top 3 at the Olympia, especially now with Nick Walker out, and I'm really excited to see the improvements that all 3 have made. Who do you think will come out on top in this comparison, and who do you have winning the Olympia? Let me know in the comments down below, and let's get into this comparison. The front double is a strong pose for all 3 to start off with because they all have great structures, silhouettes, and mass. Interestingly, none have amazing arms, with each either lacking separation, size, or the good insertions. Right off the bat, Samson's taller structure and longer limbs really draw my attention. His legs and arms look proportional to his tapered torso, and everything flows nicely. That said, compared to Derek and Hadi, he lacks the deep leg cuts, and his midsection does look a bit washed out. While his arms are the biggest, the separation isn't really there, and he looks no better than a guy like Derek in the arms. Honestly, I think that Samson alone is the most aesthetic and best proportioned. However, both Hadi and Derek outclass him in the finer detail and look denser relative to their frames. The front lat spread is a pose that's 100% going to be between Samson and Hadi if this is the top 3, since Derek has too many flaws. I will say that Derek is a bit underrated in this pose, with his conditioning and details looking very impressive and his mass looking on point. However, his chest and quads do look a bit underwhelming. Unfortunately for Samson, the lighting is not very favorable for him. However, you can see that he has the thickest arms, delts, chest, and maybe even the quads in the shot. I really do like his shape and flow, however, his lats let him down. They are highly inserted and are overshadowed by his massive arms, whereas a guy like Hadi appears far more balanced and has the best lats easily in this shot. I think side by side the pose will be a lot closer in person. However, as it is, I still think that Hadi takes it due to the sharper condition, better lats, and similar width on a smaller frame. The side chest is a pose that I do think Samson will take from both of these guys since his thickness is off the charts. Samson is demolishing both Hadi and Derek in the arm and chest density and has ridiculously large size in the side leg with some amazing deep cuts, and along with that, a tight and defined midsection. Derek and Hadi do both have some sort of flaws, with Derek being soft upstairs and Hadi lacking the thickness in the side leg and chest. I do think that Derek again is underrated in this pose, and with better lighting he would look more impressive. However, as it is, Hadi shows finer cuts and more intricate detail, which stand out more than Derek's slight size advantage in certain areas. That all said, I am most impressed with Samson, and therefore I would have him winning this pose. The rear double is a pose where Samson still needs more overall size in my opinion. Look, his back is great alone and has come up substantially. However, you can, look at a guy like Derek or Hadi and you see that there are really levels to the back development. Hadi and Derek are both smaller stature-wise, which I've said numerous times, but have similar if not better width in the back and showcase more lines and separation. While we all know that Derek is in a league of his own when it comes to the back double bicep, I was hoping that Samson would be more competitive against Hadi, since Hadi's backside really isn't his strongest point. That said, I do think he is more competitive than ever, especially when comparing the arms and lower backs. However, Hadi creates the illusion of more mass due to the similar width and size on a smaller stature. Samson just isn't doing enough in the back or in the way of separation to defeat Hadi. However, neither are really the driest or leanest from behind, so I could see this one being even closer on stage. The rear lat spread is more of the same since Derek is so far ahead of the other 2 in the conditioning, especially downstairs, while Hadi looks just as impressive as Samson from a size standpoint. Between these 2 versions of Hadi and Derek, I've always said that Hadi slightly pulls ahead due to his remarkable width and superior 3-dimensional pronunciation of the traps and lower back. However, Derek is nearly just as wide and has far better conditioning downstairs, along with a drier quality to his entire physique. This clash between 2 titans leaves Samson hanging somewhere in the middle, not being quite wide enough for his frame nor as conditioned as the other 2. I do think that his back has improved significantly and his traps and lower back look ridiculously thick. However, his softer hamstrings and glutes along with a thicker skin quality to his back take away from the sheer size and mass that he may carry. Thankfully for Samson, the side tricep is arguably the pose that he's seen the most improvements in, at least from the video footage and from this angle. He's drastically improved his posing, presenting a near-perfect flow with overwhelming amounts of mass. Like the side chest, the side leg and upper body are ridiculously dense and developed, and he smokes the other two in some way or another. For instance, Hadi looks extremely refined and polished when it comes to the midsection, the razor-sharp condition, and the overall fine cuts. However, there's no denying that he looks flat in the arm and chest compared to Samson. Now, Derek may bring that fullness and density from the side to somewhat rival Samson. However, his presentation and posing are far from ideal. His conditioning is also lacking, which ultimately leaves this to be a take-home pose for Samson. The Aban Thigh is a pose in which a majority will agree that Hadi wins, so we won't really compare him to the other two. I mean, he smokes almost everyone in the midsection development, detail, and sharpness, has some thick quads to match his wide upper body, and possesses a very nice silhouette as well. Now, a lot of people criticized Derek for not hitting an Aban Thigh crunched down. However, he actually held this so-called transition for about 5 seconds before going into the vacuum. Now, in this version, he does look pretty lackluster, having no detail in those obliques, and he's not really even crunching on the abs, and even a guy like Samson, who doesn't have the best midsection, easily beats him in my opinion. That said, going into the vacuum, I'd take Derek all day since his taper is unmatched and his quads easily show the finest detail. While a lot of you don't consider this a proper Aban Thigh, after careful review of the footage and things like that, he did hold it for a bit of time, so I don't know, it's kind of like Andrew hitting the conventional side tricep for a brief moment, and then swiftly transitioning into the more favorable frontal tricep pose. Anyways, I'm showing the vacuum to show you that both Samson and Derek look far better in this variation, but also to show you that Hadi looks nearly as good as well. In my opinion, Hadi is the most versatile in this pose out of really anyone, and easily takes it in my opinion. Next, I would probably have Derek since the vacuum is undeniably impressive, with Samson in last place because his lats don't create the widest taper, and because his quads almost overpower his upper body. That said, Derek and Samson are very close, and this one could be interchanged. The most muscular, the last pose, is definitely between Samson and Hadi since Derek looks washed out in the chest and arms. To be fair, the lighting at the Olympia was so bad and washed out that even Hadi looked bad in certain areas. However, Derek is undoubtedly less detailed in the chest and arms relative to the others. I do like his silhouette and mass, however the other two bring far more detail or size, and have more overall wow factor. Normally, I'd give this pose to Hadi against almost anyone currently since his chest striations, quad cuts, and midsection details are so far ahead of anyone. That said, Samson does look really good here, having twice the thickness in the arms, some round delts, and a thick chest with good striations. His sheer size might be enough to overpower Hadi this year, so let me know in the comments what you think. Overall though, I think that Samson will have some trouble beating these two guys, since he really only took the side poses convincingly. His size is definitely something to behold, however, size doesn't mean everything on stage. Let me know in the comments down below if you think that Samson can bring something new and possibly win the Olympia. If you enjoyed, a like and sub would be awesome, and I'll see you all in the next one. Thanks for watching.